What is up, and happy Tuesday, my friends. Welcome to the monthly market update for April 2024. Excited to dive into some updates here in the spring months as generally the weather gets warmer and so does the market. This month's tip is oriented more toward buyers. If you're looking at buying a house this spring, if you are working with me, I'm going to hit this head on with you early on, but if you're not working with me, ask your agent about some of the rule changes that are happening regarding buyer agency nationwide. If you've been reading, Bloomberg or CNN or Wall Street Journal or whatever, real estate has been in the news a lot lately. And basically everything's changing and nothing's changing all at the same time. I don't have time to dive into all that via Zoom. If you're a client of mine, you've probably already heard a little bit about this. But make sure as you play the game of real estate this spring, that your agent, it's not me, explains to you kind of what some of those new rules are. You're still going to have agent representation 9 times out of 10. You're still going to have somebody to guide you through that purchase process. But some of the rules around agency agreements and compensation and that kind of thing have shifted a little bit. So just make sure your agent explains that to you. If your agent can't explain it to you, call me. Okay. Now, with that said, let's hop into the data for the month. I want to kind of hit some spring data. What we're looking at with the issue in our market for the last several years has been inventory. That is no different this month. What we're looking at is Henderson and Buncombe County have the lowest inventory, with Haywood slightly behind and Transylvania only slightly behind that. Between 2.2 months and 3.2 months is the inventory levels in the region. What that means is, again, anything 3 and under is generally a seller's market. Anything, 4 and up, we think of that as buyer's market. There's still not quite enough homes to go around in the market. Now, with spring, we should see some of those, a few more offerings in the MLS. It's pretty typical. Look for some of that inventory to pop up a little bit, but the competition also tends to heat up a little bit in the spring. So just be mindful of that. Next thing we want to look at is days on the market. How long are houses lasting, right? I get this question a lot from a buyer perspective and a seller perspective. Is you want to know how long it's going to take to sell your house, or you want to know how long you're going to have to buy that house that just hit the market and you're in love with. What we're looking at from a median perspective is Henderson County being the quickest moving at 10 days, with Buncombe just slightly behind at 12. Haywood and Transylvania County moving a little slower at between 15 and 17 days as a median days on market. I will say, that data, put a little asterisk there in your head. Some stuff is still flying off the shelf that first weekend. Some stuff's taking a month, 2, 3 months to sell. That's not uncommon. These are just kind of a metric you can use to measure against the past. If you look at it as a median days on market, you see that being fairly stable here recently, whereas it was a good bit lower, a year or so ago. Next thing I want to look at is the percentage of original price. What this is a representation of the sales price as a ratio to that list price. So as a seller, how much are you trying? How much are you willing to let that buyer work you down on price? As a buyer, how low can you realistically go on your offer, right? What we're seeing across the region is Haywood and Transylvania County are selling at about 96.5% of their listed price. So if you're going to buy that house, you can realistically expect about a 3.5-ish% discount in general. Buncombe and Henderson County are holding a little more proud at between 98 and I'm going to call it 99% of the list price. So if you're going to buy a house in Hendersonville or Flat Rock, or Asheville or Weaverville, don't expect to get more than about 1%, maybe 2% off that list price if it's priced appropriately. Obviously, there's exceptions there. Some folks are pricing stuff way too high these days. I rarely see anybody price anything too low. Last thing I want to look at is sales price. People want to know what's going on with values, right? You see over the past several months that data holding pretty much horizontal. All right. Prices there for a while went crazy, and your house will be worth twice what you paid for it year over year for a little while. It's crazy. Now things are going a little more normal. Appreciation is a little more normal. Home value rates or rates of increase are a little more normal. We're looking at the median home / condo price in Buncombe County at 479,000, Henderson County at roughly 445, Transylvania at 465, and Haywood County at roughly 370. And if you look at that compared to months past, that's pretty much in line with where they've been for the past few months. So as a seller, don't expect your house to be worth triple what you paid for it this year. but do expect it to appreciate. And as a buyer, that's good to keep in mind as well. So there's kind of a big, broad sweep of the market for April 2024. If I can help you interpret this data for you in your particular situation, as always, just give me a shout. I'm more than happy to do so. And until I see you again, go make it a great day.